What's your story behind a PB&J?
I want a sandwich. I make a sandwich. I eat the sandwich.
You think I care about that? Look, I can do whatever I want, all right? If I want to shoot a paintball gun at my dad, I'm gonna do it.
Good shot, son. I'm proud of you.
Will you marry me?
What?
Okay, really, could you stay in the cab? I'm sorry, I'll be right there, I promise. Or maybe I won't. What's your answer?
The lady who put the BS in BSN. It's Carolyn Sheridan from the Ag Health and Safety Alliance. Time once again to see what we can do to help our family farmers.
I could not be more excited that Carolyn Sheridan's on with us today. The topic is going to be new and fresh. I'm very excited.
So exciting. I'm excited to be here.
I am, because you know we talk farming. It's Midwest. I understand the parameters.
Yes,
hogs, little cattle. You know, you got some corn.
Sheep.
You got the sheep. Maybe I got it. Corn, soybeans. Yeah. We've been doing this for years. But I noticed...
We can say that now. We can say that for years.
Years. It just seems... And every half hour seems like a year.
Ow.
But the cool thing was I saw a picture of you yesterday. And you were doing work. You were on which coast? What coast were you?
East Coast. I was at the East Coast.
You're on the East Coast.
At a conference, yes.
At a conference doing... talking about... I looked like lobster to me. You're having lobster. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having lobster. It was
so I presume lobster. You were there doing classes on how to safely farm for creations. I'm very excited about hearing about this because it's a whole different thing. I presume you still need the rubber boots, but they're much taller. Yeah. You got that.
Yeah, that's true.
Is everything basically the same?
Well, I think people sometimes don't realize it's agriculture, forestry, and fishing. There's that's what they did. They put all three together: forestry, fishing, and agriculture. And so there was good information about fishing, and it's very interesting because you think about doing that kind of job, and you're doing it on the water and on the boat and all that stuff. So we did talk fishing. We absolutely
presume one of the biggest things there, if you were Carolyn Sheridan running the phase, class number 1, learn how to flip and swim. Let's be honest, right?
That would be it.
Things like that.
But I only presented. I presented one time, and that was about ATV safety. We had three posters. So it's the International Society for Agricultural Safety and Health. It's a big conference. Every year people come from mostly North America, but also there were some people from Sweden and some other countries. So we come and we learn from each other. We present about our projects.
But I gotta imagine the farming of fish is a whole lot different than farming for your cows and your pigs. I mean, there must be much different. You don't have as much agricultural. We just talked about like fertilizers and stuff. You don't got that in the ocean. You don't have to worry about that. You got to worry about sharks.
That's why that conference is interesting because you do get to broaden your horizons just a bit. We did. There was somebody that did. Our guy Sean talked about ticks while we were there too. He had a presentation about ticks.
The tick guy? He's everywhere, this guy.
He is. He's coming back. He's going to talk about mosquitoes. But it was 3 days, and we started out with the lobster. We did. We got there and went on a boat and went out to this island, Peaks Island, and there was like 120 of us eating lobster. It was a lot.
This highfalutin stuff right there.
It was lobster, but potatoes and rolls and all the things like that too. But
a lot of free flowing beverages. I'd imagine you sitting next to the tick guy having lobster.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot of people I've known for many years, longer than you, Al. I've been doing programming with a lot of these people for more than that, and we're all in the same situation. There's a lot of funding cuts, so everybody's back together this year to talk about how do we continue our good mission of agriculture, health and safety, forestry, fishing, ag, and thinking about doing a little bit differently because times change. So we had some great discussion.
Got to do more radio.
We do. We talked about you, Al. We talked about you, Al.
No way.
Oh, yes, we did. I'm on a publicity committee, and they talked about what are ways to get the message out. And I said, let me tell you one good way. You get on the Al Travis show. And they're like,
who? What?
No. And I'm also, if we have time, I want to talk about the Progressive Agriculture Foundation because Janet Davidson was sitting next to me and she does a lot of their coordination and stuff. She goes, I know about Al Travis. She said, I've seen your show. I said, well,
Really?
yes, she did. Yeah, because they watch it and
And what is a progressive ag alliance? Is this like something where you got to call your corn by different pronouns? It's just not
That's
corn. What is a
it's, no,
progressive?
it's called the Progressive Agriculture Safety Day program. It's called Progressive Ag Foundation. They do programs for the younger people. It's mostly 8 to 12-year-olds, 8 to 14-year-olds. And I was involved in that organization many years ago. And then I moved down to the older kids. And they do programs in all the states.
Why does no one care about the old folks on the farm? Why have you guys given up on the elderly farmer? I don't understand it. They're a fine population, but no one wants to teach them.
That's not true. They're kind of stubborn, in their ways. Like
me.
Yeah, we would maybe put Al in that category. But there was presentations about farming as you get older, and really it was across the spectrum. It was a great conference.
Well, who put this on? ISASH?
ISASH.
See, how do you know I know that? Ah, yeah.
Because you can look at that. Yes,
I know.
ISASH.
I tried to sound smart.
That's right. So the major goal is to get people together. I served on their board for 6 years, and still very committed.
Did they boot you? Is that what happened? They booted you?
Well, you only can be on there for so many, terms.
Oh,
There should be term limits.
Wow, let's get political on the farm show. What does ISASH stand for?
International Society for Agriculture Safety and Health. So that means we want to pull in people from different countries. Next year, it's going to be in Saskatoon, in Saskatchewan.
And I can't read it. What's the little triangle, slow tractor ahead, the sign you got on after that?
Oh, that's the Progressive Ag Foundation. That's the organization that we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about.
I don't think the Progressive Ag Society, their logo should look like that triangle, that slow moving vehicle triangle.
Progressive Agriculture Safety Day program. That's
because when I think of progressive agriculture, I'm like, we got to start calling things by different pronouns. We're not driving slow in the tractor. We're just not fast. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it gets complicated.
That it does get complicated, particularly on this show.
I think that hurt, but I'm not fast enough to catch it. Okay. So you went and you had a good time. So now you're all rejuvenated. You come rushing back to the Midwest. Name one thing that you took away from it, other than probably that bib you were wearing, that you took away from the
I didn't even bring that bib home because it was quite dirty.
Okay.
Well, with lobster, if you don't know how to do that right, you kind of make a mess. That's why they give you that bib.
So what's the number one thing you pulled back to the farm with us?
Wow. Actually, there were several. But I did, one of the things that I did pull back was the importance of getting our message out differently now. Because we don't have the same funding. Nobody has the same funding. The NIOSH Ag Centers are struggling. And so how do we reach other types of organizations or supportive organizations? It's like we're just going to have to work harder at it. If this is an important message, so being on this show is important. We talked about that. I said that. But the other one that I
said that tongue in cheek, and you know it.
I mean it. No, I absolutely mean it. And before we got on the air, you said, did you invite anybody back? And I said, I did. I invited several people back. But
the tick guy.
No, I also invited
tick/skeeter guy, which is only freakier. Nice guy. Don't get me wrong. But when you specialize and your life revolves around the wood tick and all the wonderful brands, not really cocktail party material. You know what I'm saying? Nice guy.
That's true. I was part of a session about ATV safety, and we've had ATV safety and quad safety on
that's
your
big
program.
out here. You bet.
It is. And so the session, when you go to a session, they have several people present about the same topic. And so there was some good information about, ways to present safety on ATVs, because we're not getting, people aren't getting much safer on those. So trying to figure out how do you revamp what you say.
You know the best safety thing they did with that? You remember back in the day when they only had 3 wheels? Mm-hmm. And people were always flipping over the top and kids were getting, mangled all up. It's like, what if we put a 4th wheel on these things?
Yeah, it's like
that helped a lot. Yeah.
It's like tractors, though. They used to have the narrow front end, same sort of thing. And now they have the wide front end. And then the tractors also, anything that's relatively new has the roll bar.
Yeah.
So they added that. So there's
and the seatbelt that no one uses. So they got those too.
And but the one thing that they're saying now, they seem to have less ATV fatalities, but that's because people move to the quad bikes, the ones or quad bars, the ones that are like Rangers and those kind, where they actually have a roll bar. But what people do,
they also, I believe, putting many more roundabouts out there for the 4x4s, because that really saved a lot of lives. I read a big story on it. Big deal.
Really?
Roundabouts.
Tell me.
Well, evidently, like areas with roundabouts instead of stoplights, you're down like 90% on deaths because none of them are parallel hits, so it's all glazing off stuff. There's just many accidents, but not as many deaths. I presume they're doing it out in farm country as well. So nice roundabouts out on the farm.
I've not seen a roundabout in the country.
We should get on this. This is new for the Al Travis show and $1 million idea.
There's roundabouts other places, so I will tell you that. But I was going to say, like the Rangers and the those kind, now they're getting
Gators.
Their fatalities because people strap that door open and then they don't wear their seatbelt, so they in there either. So right,
hard to teach an old farmer new tricks. Put the seatbelt on, Bob. We got to go to break. We're way behind on break time.
Oh no!
Why do you not keep track of the time?
You're in charge. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about several other things.
Other stuff.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience the outdoors and all the fun winter in Minnesota can provide. Pick your favorite way to get in touch with nature. Others like to explore downtown in the warm comfort of a boutique or gathered around a table with friends. You can do all of that or relax and do nothing at all. Come explore Alexandria. Start planning at explorealex.com.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Amongst friends, The Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
We've got our Carolyn Sheridan's Ag Health and Safety Alliance, who just came back from a huge conference on the East Coast, which, why does a girl who talks farm safety in the Midwest go to the East Coast? I'm going to tell you right now, it's being on the ocean eating lobster is the big draw, but she is back, and we're appreciative. Did you share with them our entire Ziploc bag system that we've come up with? Did you share that with them? Because that could be big over there.
I did not, but remember when you say over there, it's not over there, just in Maine. It's everywhere because
it's big in the Midwest because we've been promoting it. I actually know a farmer just came over the other day. All kinds of assortments of plastic bags in their safety kit. Big Ziploc bag people. So that's caught on.
That has caught on. I did not talk about that. I really didn't. But
why do you not share all of it? Yes, that's so you have a reason to go back next year, right? More lobster. I got a gig for you.
Well, actually, that when I was at another speaking engagement for the ag educators, the ag teachers, a couple of weeks ago, there was a piece document or a flyer on the table there, and it was about first aid kits for farms, and down at the bottom there was amputation kit. So it's definitely catching on, right?
That's right. You've got to have the right size.
We know that's important. I don't think there's anybody that is equally excited about it as you, though. I think you really.
Well, I just see this as making so much sense.
It does.
It just makes sense. A lot of this other stuff, like let me, if I can. I had a friend get me this first aid pouch with 326 pieces in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap here. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of.
You haven't had to use it. You haven't had to use it yet.
No, still in the plastic, still good. If somebody wants to buy it from me, let me know.
No, you don't. Are you going to re-gift? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to re-gift a gift?
No, re-gifting means you give it to somebody. I just have to have somebody buy it.
You're going to make profit on it. Got it. Well,
we're all different people.
I would like to spend the majority of my time, the rest of my time, talking about the Progressive Ag Safety Days, because I think people need to get involved. And so the one thing you learn about when you're at a big conference like that is I kind of remember how narrow focused our organization is, and we did that on purpose. We never say that we're teaching 4 to 13-year-olds, and that's what this group does. We say we teach the college age or 18 to 26, and we do respiratory programs, and we teach people that are older, like you, Al. That sort of thing. but
throw
the
that
younger
in.
People. That's right. Throw that in. Well, did you have a birthday recently? Yes, I think you did. No.
In December. Yeah, just last week.
Everybody's birthday, but because now the reason I'm talking about it now is because now they have trainings for people that want to deliver programs. So we really do promote the train the trainer. So these programs can be in the community, they can be in the schools, they can be in the classrooms, and there's some of these going on right now and probably in your community. So I'm going to put it in our on Facebook, down in the comments the number.
I was going to say
call.
There was just a standard phone number. Do you not have an internet now? Is Ag Health and Safety Alliance the way to broach that, or is it? No one calls anybody anymore. You got a website.
Know, but people go to the website and then they fill out if you're interested. It's progressiveag.org. So if you spell progressive. And
this is for the kiddies, right? The Progressive Ag for the kids.
It is.
So I would say 4-H groups right now are very busy because they got a lot of sheeps and hogs and stuff to get ready for. So 4-H groups, that sort of the people would be fantastic to get a hold of.
They would, and the 4-H groups many times help not only promote, but they also help deliver the program. So it's similar to our program.
But deliver the program, but not necessarily the sheep, right? They're going to not. Okay, you throw it out there. I had a friend of mine raising sheep, and she doesn't want.
Right, and so the goal is to send them through different stations that are fun and interactive. Send them home with good information. Send them home with information for the parents as well. But it's very topic based and it's appropriate to the age. To be honest with you, I think teaching 4 to 13-year-olds is tough. I don't want to be a teacher,
no one likes kids. No one likes kids. It's a good point.
I'm not saying that, but they can get a little squirrely, and I think they can be hard to hold their attention. So that's what they do. They do a good job of that, and I appreciate.
So what's the website? Progressive something thing.
Progressiveag.org, and then there is a phone number that I can throw out there, and I have 1 minute. Oh, there you go. All right. So, and if you go to the website, there's a get involved because you can be a volunteer. There's all kinds of things that you can do. But I would suggest that people just, go ahead, contact them, see where there's a safety day in the area. And I am going to say the phone number. I know people don't call
go
anymore. 888-257-3529. So 888-257-3529. That's to find out how you can be involved, how you can have one at your school, how you can have one in your community, where to send your kiddos to.
Sure.
So it's a good organization. That's the other thing you learn at safety conferences like that there's other people, good people doing good work, and we need to promote each other when we can, because we can't do it all.
And the one thing that Carolyn Sheridan said is a great learning experience that she got from this conference is you can't have enough butter on your lobster. I appreciate you sharing, Carolyn.
That's right. I never even said that, but isn't that true? Butter on everything.
What's not better with butter?
Oh, really?
That's a great logo. All right, we got to go. Out of time. Carolyn Sheridan, Ag Health and Safety Alliance.
Promote the people. All right. Have a good weekend.